Welcome, everyone, to Council Committee meeting for Tuesday, February the 3rd. Dean, call to order, please. Alan and Betty.
Moved by Councillor Wren, second by Councillor King, that the Council Committee meeting of February 3rd, 2026 be called to order at 5:30.
All in favor? Carried. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bennett.
Present.
Reeve Watt. Councillor Gauthier. Councillor Hewitt.
Present.
Councillor Hughley. Present. Councillor King.
Present.
Councillor Wren.
Present.
All members present except Reeve Watt and Councillor Gauthier.
Thank you. Approve the agenda. We are going to make one adjustment, and that is to move Public Works report up to under number 5 delegations. Get a mover and seconder. Brian and Wendy.
Moved by Councillor Hughley, second by Councillor Hewitt, that the agenda of Council Committee meeting of February 3rd be adjusted as presented.
All in favor? Sorry. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, seeing none. We'll go to Public Works report. Mark, please. Or Brad? No, sorry.
Yeah, well,
Well, we're gonna go through the agenda, so.
Oh, we're gonna do the whole.
Yeah, do
I'm
the whole
sorry.
thing, sorry,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're starting with the report on drinking water, yeah.
And that was
Sorry,
Brad.
yeah, we're just doing the whole committee. We'll move the committee forward.
Excuse me.
Good evening. So I got two reports here. One, the fourth quarter report for 2025, and then the annual report. We'll start with the fourth quarter report of 2025. We had 28 samples of E. coli tested with total coliforms. There was absent E. coli, which was a good thing. All our limits were within the regulations, with the exception of the trihalomethanes. Although the sample that was taken was under the limit, you have to do a 4-4 average of the last 4 quarters, and due to that, it was over limit again. I don't anticipate these limits going back to regulation until like probably a year's time, because the 4-4, because we had a high one in August. It'll take it probably a year before it gets back under the regulations. It has been reported to the MECP as well as our drinking water inspector, so they're aware of that. The HAs were under the 4-4 average for regulations, so that's a good thing. We paid approximately $1,743 for lab services with Caducean. There was no complaints in the fourth quarter. 2 operators attended the Eastern Ontario Water Conference, and also our new operator attended the new water main commissioning course. Just for information, the operator in training wrote and passed their level 1 water and wastewater exam. So now the next course is just submit the application to get the certificate. 24 locates requested in the fourth quarter, 11 identified as water lines, and then our biannual program of hydrant and valve flushing was completed. 1 new water service was turned on for a new build on Roy Street West, and in the fourth quarter we purchased 66,454 cubic meters of water, which is a little higher than 2024 at 65,881. So that's my fourth quarter report. Any questions?
Wendy, please.
Just for my benefit, when people write the test to be qualified, do you have to do that every so many years, or once you write it, you're qualified?
Yeah, so once you write your exam and you get your passing results, then you have to actually submit an application. Once they approve your application, then you're licensed. But what you have to do every year is you have to do mandatory courses, and then you also have to get so many on-job training hours plus CEUs as well. So it's an ongoing training thing, and unfortunately we don't get many on-job training hours because our system's pretty much all plastic, so we don't have a lot of water breaks. So in order for them to keep their license, we have to substitute it with CEUs. So we have to send them away for training, whether it be online or away on a course. So we have to substitute it with education. We don't have, the only time you can claim on-job training hours is if, say, I'm a new operator and you're training me, well, then you can claim the on-job training hours, so can I. Once you've already did that to the individual, you can't keep doing that for each operator, right? So unfortunately, that's the downfall of the system. We have to substitute our stuff with continuing education credits, so.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
So can they help out with the city of Pembroke breaks to get some of those?
So I suppose if we have in the past, so let's say Pembroke was coming in to do a water tap for us. We would send operators down and they would observe the water tap. We can claim on-job training hours for that because they witnessed it. There could possibly be an agreement that if we talk to the city, maybe that could be doable. The only problem is whether, how the WSIB and the safety all comes into it, right? So that's the only downfall to that. All right, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to the annual report. Just a summary of the year. The weekly samples that were completed, you can see the number of samples we did over the course of January 1st to December 31st. The only adverse we had was the trihalomethanes. Everything else was within the limits. For the year, we paid Caducean approximately $7,400 for lab services. They did up the amounts in last year. They upped the amounts that they charged to do our samples. No complaints filed in 2025. Over the year, we had 3 operators for water distribution 1, and we have now 3 operators that are certified to water level 2. We were able to hire a person from the city of Pembroke that was water and wastewater level 2 certified, so it really helped us in that aspect. The OIT passed the water and wastewater level 1 exam. The following courses were taken by the individuals, so perform an inspection maintenance on fire hydrants, maintenance fests, so the mandatory certificate renewal course, that has to be done once every 3 years. So a license is good for 3 years, and in one of those 3 years, you have to take that mandatory course, or else you can't upgrade or renew your license, I'm going to say. So that a couple operators did that, and then we attended the conference as well as new water main commissioning course. New service connection line was partially installed on Robinson Lane for the new build that's going on right now. So they got the line ran under the road and into the property. I'm anticipating in the next month or 2 for them to actually for us to go commission that service line. So there's a lot entailed with that, where we have to do pressure test and have chlorine in it for so long. So that will be coming up. Also the TMN project, they're looking to commission their actual new water main by the end of this month. So we're going to be commissioning that and then hooking it up to the existing water main. And then new residential service, like I talked to in the fourth quarter, was initialized to residents on Roy Street West. Hydrants and valves were exercised in the second and fourth quarter as per the operational plan. January 9th, 2025, we had a water main break on Roy Street East, and then a couple days later, we had another one on Roy Street East. Feb 4th, we had a water main break on Lawrence Street West. A coupler failed on that one, so we had to replace a valve and a coupler, and then while we were there, we went to open up the line to flush the line, and of course the hydrant was froze, so while we were there, we replaced the hydrant as well. 2 residential water service calls to just turn off the water so they can change their main valve and then turn it back on. We had a big project. There was we had a couple water meters in the chambers. So when we get our water from Pembroke and it comes into the chamber, there's meters in there that tells us how much we've consumed from the city of Pembroke, and that's how we're billed on it. Two of them were malfunctioning. Our own workers were able to get in and change out those 2 meters, malfunctioning meters. So right now, knock on wood, the meters are all working. We have 4 more to do, so we're going to do 2 more in the spring, and then the other 2 are actual big projects where we have to change out all the guts in the whole chamber. So we're going to put an RFP out and see how much that's going to cost us to do. We replaced a valve box on Glen Street, a curb box on Glen Street while we're in there doing the construction. And in 2025, we had approximately 184 locate requests, of which 82 were identified as water lines to be marked. Our ministry inspection is going to happen on Monday next week, so unfortunately I don't have any results of that inspection. I'll bring that to the table in a later date. And then our external audit, third-party audit, that's going to happen in April of this year. So I'll also bring that back to you folks at a later date. The asset management financial plan was updated, and it was required to apply for a new water license, which we successfully we got the new water license already. Again, thanks to Annie and Mark and the team for stepping up and getting this financial plan done. We needed it big time, so kudos to them. The waterworks continues to be accredited with NSF, and our current accreditation expires in June of 27. So in 2025 summary, there were 2 adverse samples of THMs, trihalomethanes. We purchased approximately 304,473 cubic meters of water from the city of Pembroke, which was down a bit from 2024 at 306,331 cubic meters. There's a slight increase of volume in the last 5-year average, namely due to warmer summers and fall. Other factors included flushing activities, reduced THMs and HAAs, as well as increasing chlorine residuals in the East End line, which we're still having a problem with. So you'll see on the back page, we had a 10-year water consumption chart. It was in gallons. I've switched everything to cubic meters, just less numbers, and that's what we deal with in billing and all that stuff. So it's a lot easier to see the different numbers. So what I did was I went back to all the bills that we paid the city of Pembroke in the last 5 years, and that's exactly what you see. Those are true numbers, and we're kind of pretty much on average of what we use. So I'll continue to update this, and we'll get back to the 10-year mark. But that's the last 5 years that I could get in the system and the files that I went through. So from now on, we'll just continue to add to that list, and we'll get back to the 10-year average.
Al?
Just a couple things, and like just one of your acronyms that aren't or isn't explained on the bottom is NSF, and coming from the retail side of things, NSF is a non-sufficient funds. That always scares me when I see that. So what does NSF stand for?
So that's our accreditation company that does our third-party audit. And to be honest with you, I don't know the name, the actual acronyms, but
It's not.
but it's not sufficient funds. But yeah, that's the company that does our third-party audit,
okay.
And they're the ones that can either say yes, we keep our license, or no, we don't. So
No problem.
yeah,
It was more of a joke than anything else.
yeah, no.
The other thing I had was, you were talking about the valves and that big job. I was under the impression that those were all covered under the study with the city of Pembroke, because it was something that they requested us to do. So we maybe need to look at that and see if those are covered, because there was valves that meters that we had to change in the chambers, and that was the city requesting us to do
Yes.
that.
So they.
But I think that's part of the study, so that should.
So in the agreement with the city of Pembroke, it says any meters over 10 years of age have to get changed out. And all of ours are pretty much over 10 years of age.
And I realize that, but I thought
No,
those
they
got put
were
into the study.
No, I know what you're saying. No, they were a budgeted item for us, like on our own. those ones, because there are our meters.
Can we just double check?
Yeah, I'll check
I was
it out,
sure
yeah.
because we thought that there was gonna be some that were gonna be expensive, and we said, well, that should really be part of the study. If I remember properly, I'm thinking, but maybe not.
Yeah, so the expense to the meters and why they're expensive is, the city of Pembroke, they have a laptop system with an antenna on their truck, and they just drive by and they can pick up the reading
Yeah.
without, like, opening the lid and using the
Yeah,
gun.
so that's kind of why we said that they were pushing us to have that more expensive thing, and then we said, well, then they should be part of the study. Maybe they turned us down on that, I just
Yeah,
don't remember,
okay.
but.
I thought we had to change them, but I thought it was at our cost. But
Yeah.
as again,
Yeah.
like Alan
Just
said,
double check.
Yeah, double check, for sure.
Yeah.
We got it.
Thank you.
we have a motion for
Yeah.
the annual
Please,
report.
yeah.
Brian and Alan?
Moved by Counselor Yugley, second by Counselor Wren, that the Public Works and Property Committee recommend that council approve drinking water annual report 2025 as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Then you have one more item?
No.
Or is
Nope,
it-
that's it for me.
Mark.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay, that was Mark. Okay.
This is the non-solid source.
Good evening, everyone. So this is, I guess, kind of part two from a report that I brought back in January with a little more information. So this report is twofold, and first is to set the rates for the provision of collection services for source separated organics and recycling collection from non-eligible sources as deemed by Circular Materials for the year of 2026. And the second part is a bylaw to pass the agreement with Miller Waste for collection services, which we talked about in January with that coming through. So a bit of background, as I know we discussed at the January 20th meeting, that there's new regulations that have been introduced across the province of Ontario, which transfers the responsibility of residential recycling collection from municipalities to the province effective January 1st. As part of the changes, the province deemed various waste generators to be non-eligible sources, or NES, which is our acronym that we use, which includes commercial and industrial businesses, places of worship, and daycares. To encourage recycling and to provide a continued collection service option for the township's ratepayers that are deemed to be non-eligible, staff have worked out some options for council to consider. The pricing is multi-part. It includes a collection service, which we agreed to with Miller Waste to continue that service. There's a processing fee, which is paid to Mterra, operating out of the Waste Recovery Center. And then there's also the collection services, which are offered still through the municipality for garbage organics, as well as the tipping fees for those. There have been several meetings, discussions, and probably going on for a couple of years now, between our municipal partners, with Miller Waste, with Mterra, Waste Recovery Center, and just there's been a lot that's been unfolding, and unfortunately, it's been a pretty quick turnaround trying to get some of this information out. As mentioned, it's already been approved that the collection of recycling for the non-eligible sources will be weekly on Fridays, and that's the opposite to the residential collection for Laurentian Valley businesses, which we do have 47. And then our NES is being co-collected with the town of Petawawa and the city of Pembroke. So from being through it for a month, I think the process is going well. There's still some confusion with the NES, and we are going to be getting some more information out to them once we kind of get some of these prices, but we're slowly working through it, and I think we're all experiencing the same kind of pains through the process as our partner municipalities. The collection for garbage and organics will be collected normally, and this will be done through the residential program. So this will happen on the normal residential collection day. So it does mean that as for your business, you do have 2 collection days. So you'll have your garbage and organics through the residential program on the normal residential day, but then your recycling for those businesses will be on a Friday as part of a co-collection. So, and that's, I think, been some of the challenges are what do we put out on what day and how does that process work? But we've been working through it, and most businesses have been very understanding and kind of working with us because we're sort of learning as they're learning through the process as well. So something that we've put forward is to continue to promote recycling in the non-eligible sources and try to keep things out of the landfill. Staff have come up with a tiered approach to collection and then breaking down the waste streams into separate categories with some individual pricing. So it gives businesses an option to choose the services that they use instead of this is a large number and this is what you're going to pay. So this would mean that there would be a price for recycling collection, a price for garbage collection, and a price for organics collection. Large item collection, leaf and yard waste haven't been offered to the commercial businesses, so we wouldn't include that and keep that separate out of this. All non-eligible sources would be permitted, as I mentioned, to choose the services that they'd like to utilize. And over the last month, the one thing that we've learned is that there does seem to be a lot of businesses that were using our residential system for recycling collection only, and they weren't using the garbage component of it. So the thought of the recycling collection, unfortunately, is going up with this new provincial contract, how it's working, and then to have another large item for amount for garbage collection and for organics and maybe services they don't use didn't make a lot of sense and was probably going to encourage them more to put stuff in the front load bin in their parking lot than what it would be to recycle. So their tiered approach is just to provide some assistance and hopefully still promote some recycling. So with the way our prices work now, a full residential program is $220 for the year of 2026. So breaking down, and basically this is a cost recovery with the increased tipping fees, and that's a significant portion of the recycling collection. A commercial business for the recycling collection and processing would be $380 a year. If they chose to have garbage collection and the tipping fees processing through the township, for the 1 unit or 3 bags, it's $120. Now, we do have some businesses that are paying 3, 4, 5 units of collection. So if they chose their recycling, they'd be $380, then they'd be the 120 times that amount. And then if they wanted to do organics, and there are some businesses that have an organics program and sort of like to have that for employees, it would be another $80. So with a single stream of garbage with the recycling collection and the organics, it would be $580 a year if they chose everything as one. But the idea would be that we would let them choose, and I would think most would probably lean towards the recycling collection only and stay away because they do have others, but this was sort of their tiered approach that we like to put forward. So this is hoping that this is pretty close to a cost recovery. We were using previous years' weights and quantities and trying to divide up per stop and location, and a lot of math went in the background to come up with them. So it's our, for lack of terms, it's a best guess that we could come up with for this year, and we'll get through 1 year with the service and see how it works. So I'm not sure if council has any questions.
Brian?
So the recycling collection, is there a limit to the amount of cardboard a business can put out?
No. So
And in what form does it need to be? Does it have to be bundled or broken down, or?
So as long as it's conforming to the same residential, so that 2x2 shape, the smaller sizes, because it's basically the same collection vehicle picking it up. So it still has to be bundled and put down, but there is no limit for how much you put out. So, and that's one of the best guesses was the tonnage, right? Because we're paying so much per stop, so it's $6.75 per business, but then we're paying a tonnage fee. And cardboard is quite a bit less than what the container recycling is. So like the cardboard is, the tipping fee is $53 a ton, container recycling is $250. So that's the difference in it. So, in the two commodities, but limits, it doesn't matter, but it does still have to be broken down. So, there is some information coming, and I might as well speak to it tonight. There's been some rumblings with Circular Materials Ontario overseeing the program that potentially starting in March, if your cardboard is not in a recycling bin, they may no longer collect it. And we seriously just found this out today. Wow. So if you have a cardboard box full of cardboard boxes, they may now deem it to be ineligible because it wasn't in a container.
That's kind of where I was going with the volume. Well, now you're limited to the volume that will fit in a recycling container. We
Yeah.
take two truckloads a week of cardboard to the,
Yeah, and a lot of the businesses, like the 47 we're supporting, are smaller businesses. They're not big box stores, and it's ones that we're, I would say, providing a service to that they're utilizing. So it's tough. And now this information that just came out about the cardboard box, and it was very gray and just said we'll work through things in a transition period, but it was a news article that someone had actually found that talked about some changes coming in March, which hasn't been relayed to us. It's just something that someone stumbled across, and unfortunately that's how we've been finding out more about this program, is just finding stuff online where some municipalities are maybe further ahead of us in the transition process and working through it. So
I know the idea years ago when we tried to get smaller businesses, get the recycling and garbage picked up as long as they could fit into the residential program. So yeah, businesses with 2 truckloads a week is never gonna fit into that program. Now, people may be forced to buy a couple more blue boxes to get their cardboard inside of it. But once again, it's the lack of circular materials. You know, they were so they didn't get everything out, made our calendars wrong. Now they're introducing this, like a month notice. It's ridiculous, and I think, as per Alan's comment at our last meeting with MPP Deno and the Waste Recovery Center is doing up a letter of complaint of the process, and that will be going out in the next week or so. But I want to compliment Mark, because this has taken a lot of work to get to this point. I know when we first looked at this, it was like $1,300 a business to get this service. And Mark took the initiative of breaking the cost up, because I know not all municipalities do that. It's all or nothing, cost-wise, which would have been a lot more money. So I think now that we're going from 220 to 580, I think is pretty good. I know it's more expensive, but I think it's going to keep businesses continue to recycle and not throw it in the green bag. So hats off to Mark for doing what he's done, and it's a very frustrating process. I was hoping to talk to our MPP today about it, but he was pretty busy with the presentation that we were at. But I told him I was going to call him and discuss the circular materials, because people are still asking, you know, and I'm still telling people, like everybody else on the board or whatever, and people say, well, what's going in and what's not going in? And keep saying, go on to our Lawrence Valley webpage and watch the video, and it certainly gives you a lot more information. So that's all we can do. Al.
So time for another letter, I guess, when it comes to cardboard, because what's going to happen to cardboard is those businesses are just going to put it in their dumpster. It's going to wind up in our landfill, so it's going to wind up costing us. So another mistake by the province and circular materials, okay, that's going to cost the municipalities more money. So probably a second letter needs to be sent, and sooner than later. I know it's only a rumor now, but it's better to nip it in the bud as early as you possibly can to try and possibly stop it. You just got to drive down the road on pickup day and see some of the businesses, how much cardboard they got out. They are not putting that in a blue box. It's not happening. I can tell you that right now.
no.
And it's amazing, because cardboard is a commodity that's worth money. Back when I was at the store, because we such a huge generator of cardboard, they put in a $30,000 compactor that they said will pay for itself in a short period of time. And that just goes back on the trucks and goes back to our warehouses, and then it all gets shipped out from there in full bales. So there is money in it. I'm amazed that they're doing that. You'd think that they would want that commodity to offset the cost of some of the others.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense, because it's easier to put pick up a box and throw it in than to empty out the blue box.
Yes.
I don't know, we'll certainly look into
So
it.
I did start on an email today, and I just didn't have time to finish. I'll get it sent out tomorrow, just asking for some clarification, because it was just, we did receive a phone call, and it was a very vague reply back, and it was actually from Miller Waste, the contractor. It wasn't from Circular Materials, and then Circular Materials sent an email that was vague and just talked about working through a transition period. And it didn't really answer the question. So We are gonna keep poking at it, and I agree, there has to be something else done. I mean, so many people put their cardboard in a box, and that's how it goes out, so.
If you could CC me out to my LB
Yeah,
address
absolutely.
too, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mark? We have a motion. Alan, Betty?
Moved by Counselor Wren, second by Counselor King, that the Township of Laurentian Valley set rates for the provision of collection services for refuse, separated organics, and recycling collection for non-eligible sources as deemed by Circular Materials Ontario for the year 2026, and further that the council approve the forward bylaw 2026-02005 as presented to the bylaw portion of regular council meeting on February 17th, 2026 for enactment.
All in favor? Carried. Do you want to comment about coal?
Sure, yeah, so I'll just, I know one of our operators, Shane Hebert, we had a similar recognition a few months ago, so Cole Hawkins has now completed his CRS designation, so we've been investing in some of our own employees who have some interest in some programs and some succession, so Cole now has his CRS designation, and coming up in the end of March at Good Roads, both Cole and Shane are attending. They have completed a Public Works Leadership Development Program, and at the AOR's AGM as part of Good Roads, there'll be a presentation and they'll be given a certificate, and they'll be honored at that AGM as well. So it's kind of a good thing for them to go, and I think they're excited to come down and to attend the show and gain some knowledge and be recognized amongst their peers from across the province. So yeah, congratulations to Cole on his designation.
Absolutely, for sure. That's great.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thank you
perfect,
for
thank
that.
you.
You're good, Mark, thanks.
Okay, so we'll
We'll
finish.
just finish the subcommittee.
Yeah, Waste Recovery Center. So a couple of things there. Our final submission for landfill expansion will be submitted within 2 weeks. They're waiting for one last letter from the consultants. So that's good news. It means now it could take up to a year for all the approvals to get it. Right now, we've got a year and a half potentially left in the landfill on our current footprint. With the expansion, if approved, which I would assume it would be, would give us another 10 years. So we are looking already at, for the next board after the election, as to where we go from there. If you remember years ago, I owned the pond board. That spent a lot of money, didn't get anywhere trying to find one at, I think it was Round Lake area or whatever. So we're already gonna move forward and try and look at either getting approval for after that 10 years to continue to go up or to go across the road where we have property. The board decided that it was best to stay where we were as long as we can, rather than going through the process of another landfill, another property. So that takes a lot of studies and whatever, but we gotta start looking at it, 10 years away. It's not that long, 10, 11 years before you know it. Now you start trucking. The only issue we have is that the ministry does not approve our expansion in the next year. We already have to start looking into trucking our garbage, so there'll be a lot of pressure on the province if we get close to that time period where we're running out of landfills. So, anyways, it's a moving target, and it is coming along, but staff is doing a great job with all the submissions, and I must say that our MPP, Billy Daniels' office, has been very good, because we was very stagnant with all the reports for probably 6 months, and we finally got him involved, and he was able to get some of the paperwork pushed forward to the ministry. So thanks to him. That's it for that. Now we'll go back, Dean.
Yeah, I'll go back to corporate services and protect, or no, I guess planning, sorry, there's a couple subcommittees there.
Pembroke Area Airport, Alan.
Okay, just a couple of things. We got
Mike.
a couple things. We got a request from Gary Service, the mayor of town of Petawawa, and he was in touch with Round Canopy Parachute Team Canada in 2025, and they're looking at doing a ceremonial jump in Petawawa sometime in May 26. It's in memorial of the 1968 Wagner Point tragedy. I think a lot of people would know that they've done a number of jumps there. But this one, they really want to commemorate it, and they're looking at bringing vintage aircraft to the airport. So we're having a meeting tomorrow morning with all the different parties involved with it and trying to set something up for mid-May to have those antique aircrafts at the airport. I know the Garrison Petawawa are very interested in being involved in it, so I'm sure they will have some of their equipment at it as well. So it might be a really good thing for the area to come to the airport and see some of the planes and stuff up close and personal. The other thing, we had a really neat thing happen the other night on Friday night when it was -30 and blowing. We got a call from Gary Service again, who got a call from Garrison Petawawa, who had an aircraft in the air that was in trouble and needed emergency de-icing and wondered if the airport could provide that. Got a hold of Steve Gilchrist at 7 o'clock at night. He got a hold of the pilot on his cell phone. The pilot landed. The aircraft got de-iced and got on its way and was back out of the area at 9 o'clock. So kudos to Steve to go and do it -30, stand on a ladder and spray out of a hose glycol on a plane to get it de-iced so it could continue on its way. And it was a military aircraft, so.
Jeez, that's great.
Yeah.
Good news. Well, good luck with that tomorrow, Alan.
Yeah.
I know I can't attend, but, and Chris, you're gonna contact Chris afterwards? and
After we
see-
have the meeting, I'll contact Chris and just fill him in, and hopefully we as a municipality can get involved in it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, emergency management, anything there, Laura?
No.
Okay. Now we'll go to corporate business. Laurie, motion for council and staff expenses and allowances?
Good evening. This is a report just subsequent to the report that was brought to council last month in January. The Appendix A that was used for the mileage rates was used to be the wrong one. It should have been the CRA rates that were set through the section 7306 of the income tax regulations, whereas the other one was actually the CRA rate employee one. So this was just to amend the kilometers to reflect the proper schedule.
Okay.
Motion to approve the,
Wendy and Alan?
moved by Councillor Hewitt, second by Councillor Wren, that the Corporate Service and Protection Committee deems it expedient to update Schedule A of the bylaw to reflect 2026 rates set by the Government of Canada with regards to Appendix B meals and allowance rates, and that the 2026 automobile income tax deduction limits and expense benefit rates, and further that the council approve the forward bylaw 2026-02004 as presented to the bylaw portion of the regular council meeting of February 17, 2026 for enactment.
All in favor? Carried. And Laurie, the second one, strategic direction summary?
Yes. So this summary was just to show what the strategic directions were used in the reports for staff reports throughout the year of 2025 from January to December. Once again, the core value transparency was the most used strategic direction used in the reports. And just to be noted that their staff reports do sometimes or may contain more than one strategic direction depending on the topic of the report. And then further to that, there was the report shows the comparison, from 2024 to 2025. In 2024, we started tracking this in June. So I used from June to December for 2024 and June to December for 2025 to show a true comparison of what strategic directions were used.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, council? Have a motion?
No,
Nope. Okay.
just information.
Thanks, Laurie.
Thanks, Laurie.
Now we have our chief back.
You can stay there, Tim, or whatever. Eh? Oh, I see. Could have got you one, I guess.
Perfect, thank you.
Evening, chief.
Evening.
Table's all yours.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Maybe this is not to do with the council or anything, but I think that, I had my hip replaced for the voters out there, I'm sure they know. Anyway, but I think that the hospital, Pembroke Hospital takes a lot of crap, but I was in there and it was unbelievable what it was, gets done in 8 hours. I just want to give them kudos, that's all. I think they deserved it, but. Anyway, on another subject,
Thanks.
yeah,
I'll
no,
take that one
they
personally.
deserved it. I mean, it was,
Nothing towards you, Dan.
yeah. We're running into cases, in fact, you know, no, I can't get into too much detail with the reports, but we ran into 3 or 4 cases now in the last 2 months where we're being called to houses with CO detectors or being called by EMS because they go into houses and the CO detectors are going, or else they're getting readings on their buttons. They have a like a adapter or whatever on their alarm on their belt. So when they go in the CO, okay. And I don't know the answer to this, and I just want to make everybody aware of it. But we have more and more old senior people in houses that shouldn't be in houses alone, and some of these homes, like in 2 different cases, I had to remove the people from the home. I had EMS move them from one. The other one, I called the relatives, had them removed, and I told them they're not staying there. They're the house, because I mean the CO is only a minor part of what was going on in these houses, okay? And that's 4 now in the last 2 months, and I've seen it before, but it just I guess with our society getting older and with things are happening, it's not. There's a lot of people out there that are having a tough time, and it's like I say, I don't have an answer to how to fix it, but it does concern me. You know, and that it's happening. So,
Al?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Tim. You read your reports now, and it's not a fire report anymore. It's everything else that you're doing in a couple fire issues.
yeah.
It seems that the fire department is being called to do everything these days, and something's got to change somewhere. I agree with you 100%. It's ridiculous that you guys are doing the amount of work that you're doing, and everybody just seems to dump it on the fire department.
Well, yeah, if there's nobody else to do it, we get called. And I mean, sure, CO detectors are our place of business, but it's easier for me to go into a house, or for the guys to go into a house and say, okay, yeah, your detector's not working, or replace the battery. But it's all the other stuff that we're seeing, and that's when we're saying, whoa, we're not, like, I'm not going to be responsible for that poor person or people that are in that house. You know, 'cause I don't want to be taking the bodies out the next morning, because you can see what's going to happen here, you know. And it's too bad, but our society is, we have a problem.
And I think the province needs to know that. I'm sure they already do, but maybe the Fire Chiefs Association should be writing a letter saying,
Yeah.
we're looking after these types of calls more than we're looking after fire calls.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's,
certainly make them aware
But it's
of it.
also the case of all the motor vehicle accidents you go to. Originally, fire departments were there to extract people
Yeah.
with, if we had that equipment, and that was our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And the other one was to clean up environmental spills. It wasn't to direct traffic and help the OPP do their job. But now you guys are doing all of that kind of stuff at an accident scene.
Yeah.
And it's not really part of your realm of responsibility, really.
yeah, we're working with the paramedics, and we secure the scene. But I'll tell you what's even worse, what's even more scarier, okay, is that most of our MVCs are rollovers, okay? Everything rolls over today. And the next problem that we're running into now, which is these hybrids, okay? And these electric, like, I don't know where that's all gonna go, because today they bring out something and say, this is the answer to it all, and you just about get ready to buy it and put it in your budget, and next thing they come along and say, oh geez, there's 10 firefighters got hurt in the States because they were using it. So you know, like, it's, we're embarking on an age of batteries that we have no control of, okay? Like this, there's this, and so the other side of the coin is that on a basic rollover where the guy crawls out of it and he walks to the ambulance, okay, they call us, which is because the next problem is that what is that, how is it, what makes that thing go, okay? If it's batteries, there's going to be a bigger problem because sooner or later it's going to start on fire. It might not be then, might not be in an hour, it might be 2 weeks from now, wherever that thing's stored. That's the problem, okay? So it's the world we live in, you know. So.
Nothing to put that fire out with.
Not really. I mean, there's lots of gels you can buy. There was a magic blanket that I almost was going to buy one, and then all of a sudden, 5 firefighters in New York got hurt with it because it puts the fire out, but if you don't take it off quite right, the fire reignites them. See, the alkali or the lithium batteries, they just never go out. You know, like it's and there's lots of. So until and now, like, I get emails every day, oh, this is the new improved thing, this is gonna do it, but, yeah, that's the new improved today, but I don't know, it's all a learning curve for everybody, so.
Betty?
Tim, are you finding that the CO2 calls are everywhere, like it's something that's for other departments as well, or just?
Oh, yeah. Our calls are no different than everybody else's. Yeah, everybody's going, it's the same thing, it's, the CO, I mean, and now, of course, as of January 1st, you have to have one on every floor and one wherever there's bedrooms, okay? You have to have, which, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Because we used to get the calls, and we still get lots of calls, it's batteries. People don't replace batteries, okay? And they're supposed to last 10 years, and some of them don't last 10 years. But we're getting calls now where we're getting to the door and we're getting readings, okay? We had one. I don't want to get too deep into it, but the guys got out of the truck, okay, and the meter is going crazy. All right, well, fella decided to do some work in his basement with a salamander heater and a generator running, and you know, but this is the kind of, you know, and thank God he got out, but yeah, there's more and more we're finding there is actually CO in these places, you know. So, and especially with these elderly people that they don't realize what they're, you know, they've been doing it like that for whatever, but anyway, that's the way it is.
Okay, any other questions for our chief? That's it, thanks, Tim.
Okay, thank you.
Animal report? Any questions, comments? Betty?
Yeah, the door-to-door, the parking issue
Which one, sorry?
on second line down.
Second line to Roy Street, parking issue, door to door.
Like, are they,
Well, we
It's
had
a-
some
it's-
issues, so I think what this one is they got called because we were having some parking issues with the plowing. So we kind of got, the guys went door to door, or they went door to door to tell them to remove the vehicles. And now we'll be putting in a better system for next year with regards, we're gonna have to get, we're doing some work on our bylaws to be able to get some staff members appointed to give tickets, because this is getting a little bit ridiculous when people they're trying to plow these big trucks around these cars, and people are leaving them on the roadway more so than ever before as well. So we will get our own, instead of getting this, in this case, they went door to door, we got MLES to follow, because they just didn't have the manpower to do it, but we are gonna have to deal with that.
yeah, that seems to work. When I was working for City of Pembroke doing bylaw enforcement, we would do ticket and tow on the nights that they plowed it.
Yeah.
It didn't take too long for people to realize it.
Yeah,
They had to get
No,
up to
for
speed.
sure. The biggest problem, I've talked to some of the drivers too, is that until we actually lay a fine, they just laugh at you. Because they know we're not gonna do anything. So I think this is why we're taking that next step, and we'll be able to go out there and find that vehicle, because, yeah, I've never seen a winter with so many vehicles parked on the road
No.
overnight. Like and we're
We
getting
got a lot of
lots of,
snow and the banks are high and people just, it's just easier to park on the street, but you're quite correct, Councillor King, I think a couple of tickets in the Stafford built-up area and that'll cure the problem.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, move down subcommittees, Festival Hall.
So everything's going well with Festival Hall. We just had a meeting last week before. We're now having our meetings at Festival Hall, which we're finding is very advantageous because we're able to address issues that the management team has, Kitchissippi. So they're able to show us where the problems are going forward. We're now in the process of purchasing some new lighting for the hall to upgrade the lights that have been in there since the inception. Parts are getting harder to buy, that kind of thing. So we're hoping they're going to be in within the next week or two. Chris is working with Kitchissippi to put a plan in place for capital projects so that we've got an order of what needs to be replaced when, something that we didn't have before, so that we can address the issues with any upcoming problems or aging pieces or that type of thing. So no, everything's going well. They've got some really good programs coming up. They've got some kids' movies coming up over the snow spree. So yeah, it's looking really well.
Good. Okay. Public Library. Wendy.
You'll see there's a long list of attachments there, from September right through to December of our monthly reports, and then the budget was passed just recently, and there's very small, minimal changes to the budget from the previous year. It was just the pay increase for staff, which matches the city staff, but there was no new hires or anything like that, so there's no big staffing changes.
Are we having, or I'm sorry, is the library having issues this winter with homelessness?
It doesn't seem to be as much this winter as in the summer months. There still is issues though, yes.
Okay. Okay, now we're down to community development, facility use and maintenance agreements. Nevada.
Good evening. So the report I prepared for you tonight is to bring back the recreation facility use agreement that we have with just one committee, the Allison Fraser Recreation Association. It was an oversight on my part. I forgot to include the elevator. At one of the last meetings, they kind of mentioned that to me, like who's responsible for what. So I brought it back to include that. So if you go down to there's a chart. I added the elevator, it's in red. Yeah, there we go. So my staff's thought was, so I consulted the treasurer of Allison Fraser Rec Association, and she gave me some figures, costs of what it costs them to run that elevator. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, every 2 months they pay $339. It's a maintenance fee, and a gentleman comes from Upper Canada Elevators and does some bi-monthly maintenance on that. Every 5 years they do a load test, which is approximately $2,600. And the load test verifies the structural integrity, the braking system, and the overall performance of the elevator. And then any deficiencies that come up need to be repaired. And then it's, the lifespan of the elevator is 20 to 25 years. We're at 15 years now. So the load test will be due to complete this year. So overall, in the from 2020 to 2025, it's costed the Rec Association $16,000 to keep that elevator running at Allison Fraser Rec Center. So my suggestion, or staff suggestion, would be, if council approves, that perhaps we could take on the load test, which happens every 5 years. They would continue doing the bi-monthly maintenance and any TSSA inspections and any minor repairs that come up. Major repairs maybe would be a cost sharing between the township and the association, and then replacement, obviously that would be a big expense. I did call an elevator company. I am going to get a quote to see what it would cost to replace it, but it's sounding like it might be around $200,000. And they've been having a lot of problems with the elevator lately. It's been breaking down a lot more. There is a quick fix, but that quick fix seems to not be working on the breaker to reset it. So people are getting afraid to use it, especially with the Fit and Feisty running all their programming. It gets used a lot more. So we do have it being looked at a little more in detail. I don't know if they've come out yet to look at it. No. So see if it can be repaired and not replaced at this point.
Alan's got a question.
Well, kind of a question and a comment, and I was on that committee back when they were looking at, and back then we were looking at a lift. And it was, I think, in my opinion, was a big mistake that they went with an elevator and not a lift. A lift is a lot less expensive, A, to install, and B, to operate, and any repairs that need to be done. So if you're going to get a quote, I would be getting a quote on a lift. I'm not really sure. I wasn't on it when they actually went with the elevator, and why they went with an elevator, I'm not sure. But in the beginning, we were looking at a lift that was like, it would have been a quarter of the price of an elevator. So
Okay.
that's something that I would be looking at is a lift. Now, maybe because of the type of building that it's in, you can't use just a lift, but I know lots of churches and that's what they use is just a lift. And
Okay.
they're quite a bit less expensive to operate and install.
Okay.
Patty, and then,
I think the elevator idea had to do something with the grant that was provided for the playground and the accessibility issue, I think. Where we have the issue with the elevator is it's an accessibility elevator, not a service elevator. So where where we're having the issues is people trying to hold the door open. And we've put signs up, we've tried putting signs, we keep telling people, don't hold the door, don't grab the door. But as soon as, they do that, they see their friend coming, the hand goes out, and the door stops. And as soon as they do that, the next thing you know, the elevator's out of commission, then you gotta do a reset. The reset lasts about as long as it takes for somebody to stick their hand through the door again. Or somebody they're having a baby shower, they try to hold the door open so they can load their equipment or music or whatever. So whether it be a lift or a replacement of an elevator, I think rather than going with another accessibility elevator, I think we should look at something more like a service elevator where it might negate those issues going forward. But I think the idea of a service elevator, if it's something that we could do, would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, and you can probably go with a service in a lift as well. There's less regulations with a lift than there is with an elevator, and that's why they're less expensive.
and sorry, Brian, just to follow up on that, I know that, Chris, there are some grants out there right now, and one is accessibility grant.
Just go.
Yeah, so just open, so somebody should be looking at that as well. Okay. Brian and then Wendy.
That was one of the first questions, was some grants for the accessibility, but the other one on the lift versus elevator, they just changed at the Kiwanis Fieldhouse at Riverside Park from a lift to an elevator. And one of the reasons why is in the old days with a lift, it was a little wheelchair that you could pick up with one hand and carry up the stairs to get them on the top end. But now with the motorized wheelchairs, you're not carrying that up a flight of stairs to get them on the other end. And so you need the elevator to get folks up and down these days.
With the chair.
Yeah, with the chair. So it's a one step forward, two steps back with technology, it seems, but.
Yeah, but I would still look at the lift side of things, just because there's less regulations with them. You can get one that has the weight the ability to lift that kind of weight. And I know when we were originally looking at it, we were looking at something that would lift 4 people in it. So, and it was still going to be a lift.
And they still need the regular certification and checks with the lifts too.
They're not as stringent though with a lift.
I think that the issue here, though, is we're not going ahead with this. There's no contract.
No.
I think right now we're
There's
just getting
still-
an
yeah,
idea. So
we're-
Nevada's going to do
and-
that homework to see. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to still try and work with what we got, and maybe we
Yeah.
can get it fixed.
It doesn't mean that what's there can't be repaired or better serviced. Yeah.
Wendy, you got a comment?
It actually got answered, because I was just going to say that I did read something about the grants for accessibility.
Yeah.
So it's been answered.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what's council's wishes here for the
Yeah.
new agreement on the elevator? You good with that?
I guess it kind of makes sense that, with, you know, with the way it's been structured, that is really probably our responsibility.
So, yeah, for sure.
Can we also investigate the funding though?
Oh, yeah, we'll look at,
I
we're
think
we're in the
already
midst of
been
doing,
looked at.
yeah, we're doing that too.
Yeah. So somebody want to make a motion? Al and then Brian?
Moved by Counselor Rand, second by Counselor Ugly, that the Community Development, Recreation, and Culture Committee approve the amended recreation facility use and maintenance agreement for the signing and enactment of Allison Fraser Recreation Association to include the maintenance and replacement of the elevator.
All in favor? Carried. And your report?
Yep.
about this.
So I prepared a small report for you. I just wanted to highlight the ice fishing derby that's coming up in a couple weeks. Registrations are open. We already have just over 50 people registered. It's a really fun day for families. So if you wanted to try fishing or haven't done it before and want to do something new with your family, it's a great beginners tournament. It's just fun and easy, and you get lunch provided, and it's fun for everybody.
Betty?
Is that again on the family-free fishing weekend
No.
again, or no?
No, it's on the weekend after.
Okay.
And kids fish for free, so do adults over 65. It's just people ages 18 to 65 that need a license. And I also want to just make mention of the Allison Winterland Carnival. The volunteers at Allison Fraser did an excellent job this year, and it was another really successful event that raised some good money for the rec center and for future improvements.
Some teams did better than others at the. Okay, thanks, Nevada. Yeah, we certainly were there, and trivia night, it was a good night. It was full as usual. Community development.
Chris is away on conference, but if there's any questions, I can certainly try to address them,
Okay.
or at least get Chris to respond when he gets back.
Friends of Disabled.
Not a whole lot to report right now. We are having our AGM this Thursday night to approve our budget, and I don't think there's probably anything other, our numbers are probably about the same as what I reported last month. And we are looking at doing a fundraiser again this year, something a little different. It's still in the works, and we're looking at having our fundraising event. If we can get the availability, we're looking at having it out at the Allison Fraser Rec Center. Because we usually do all of our events in the city, so it'd be nice to have something at Laurentian Valley this time.
Great. Okay, any questions for Wendy? No? Shane Uck, Brian?
We had a meeting last night. Hockey is well underway and going well. Last night was picture night for that as well. Only thing for the township, I guess Mark's gone, they're requesting a new flag. Township flag there was the one, I forgot to talk to Mark earlier, but ice is good and things are rolling ahead there.
Good. Yeah, the weather's good for ice, for sure. Allison Fraser?
As Nevada mentioned, we had another successful winter carnival. Started with teen night, ended with trivia. We had awesome numbers for bingo, euchre, glow skate. Family Day this year had lower numbers than usual. Unfortunately, we did not have as many events as we normally do, due to the shortage of volunteers to be able to man the events. So that might have counted for lower numbers. But again, we want to thank the amazing sponsors we had. Without them, we wouldn't be able to run that event. Which brings me to another point. We are in desperate need of volunteers. We've had some ads on the radio, we've been putting stuff on Facebook. This coming Tuesday at 6:30, if anybody out there is interested in not necessarily sitting on committee, but if you're able to come out and help out with the events and put your name forward so that we have a bank of names, or they have ideas for some of our events, we really would like them to come out, and we'd like to hear from them.
You have your election coming up soon as well, right?
Well,
That is the election that
That's
night?
what Tuesday is for, that if we are hoping to get enough people out, because we do have Elizabeth stepping down. We seem to get an influx of about 8 or 10 or 12 people, and then as their children and family pressures and family life takes on, you know, one by one, they start disappearing, so then we're down to 4 or 5, and then we have to do a drive to get a bunch of new ones. So we're kind of at that point again now. Elizabeth has done an amazing job during her tenure as chair. She's going to be sorely missed, I'm telling you. So we're hoping that we're going to get some new blood on
Yes, for
Tuesday.
sure. It's not an easy thing today to get volunteers. I know years ago Shady Nook went through that, and they had a real struggle, and I know the Four Seasons Trail went through that in the fall, and we were able to get a couple new ones, but yeah, for sure, anybody wants to volunteer, it doesn't have to be a huge commitment, but to support a couple of programs, because we're really falling short, for sure. Okay. Forest Lake Park, Keith isn't here, Pleasant View, Stafford, no. Four Seasons Trail is busy. I think Huckabones, who supports us with the tractor, is doing a hot dog night Saturday night, hot dog and hot chocolates. And I believe the Lumber Kings are coming out the following Saturday night. So lots of support, and they did a New Year's skate this year, which went over very well. So yeah, it's busy. It's a busy spot, and lots of young families out, so that's what you want to see. Fit and Feisty, Keith is not here. Reviews report, no. Council acknowledgements. I think we should mention today that Alan and myself and Dean were at the water plant for the city of Pembroke. They did their announcement along with Whitewater, Eganville, and Renfrew, and Bonnechere Valley. Yeah. 5 different municipalities. MPP Billy Deno announced a total of $38 million going towards upgrades for water. I know the city of Pembroke, I think it was $28,700,000 to go towards a new reservoir and a trunk line that had already been talked about before. And certainly we supported that with a letter back when they applied for that grant. So we were part of the city as well. So it's
Also engineering for the.
engineering for the second water tower. So it was a big day. It was a lot of money that was put out. It was great to see Billy hasn't been around that long, but certainly I'm sure he had something to do with it. And for Pembroke, it was probably their biggest grant they've ever seen. So, you know, water is so important, and the safety of water is so important that the upgrades need to be done. We heard from the other municipalities where they're gonna put their money as well in their grant money, so it was good to see, for sure.
And we're responsible for 25% of our share of that. So there's 28 million, but 25% has to come up from the water users.
Well, I think it's 9 million is a share that the municipality has to pay, so we have to pay a portion of that, but we're still gonna be discussing that. That should be buried into the water rate report and then through the rates, but yeah, we'll have to pick up some of that for sure. You're right.
Anybody else? Nope, seeing none. Dean?
Okay, we do have a closed item, go into closed session, so we got a motion to go into closed.
Wendy and Brian?
Moved by Councillor Hewitt, second by Councillor Ugly, that the council committee meeting of February 3rd, 2026, move into closed session at 6:40. Chaired by Mayor Bennett, according to Ontario Municipal Act, Section 239.2, Section 239.3, Section 239.3.1, in order to address a matter pertaining to personnel matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees.
Okay, we're gonna take 5 minutes. Okay, we're back in session here. Return to open session report on, no, sorry. Move back into open session.
Mover and seconder, please.
Betty and Alan.
Moved by Councillor King, second by Councillor Wren, that the council committee meeting on February 3rd, 2026, move back into open session at 7:10.
All in favor? Adjournment.
Mover and seconder.
Wendy and Brian.
Moved by Councillor Hewitt, second by Councillor Ugly, that the council committee meeting on February 3rd, 2026 be adjourned at 7:10.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you, folks. Good night.